Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world." And real estate is what we do. This is the Realtors Radio Network. There's no sense in overcomplicating real estate. And if you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or a real estate agent, you're about to get useful, practical, and smart advice on every facet of real estate. Welcome to the Realtors Radio Network. Now your hosts, Santos Garcia, Marco Suarez, and Dawn McCullough.
Welcome to Realtors Radio Network. Today we have Dena Cutler, a great super agent, I'm going to call you, because you cover multiple states. But before we get going, I want to introduce your usual suspects, Dawn McCullough, Santos Garcia,
como todos los días,
and myself, Marco Suarez. Welcome, Dena. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Of course.
We've been interested in having a chat with you for a while because you're the rare agent that covers a couple of states. Actually, which states do you cover? Just
Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey.
Look at that. Yeah, multiple states. So let's get started with our first. We always ask our guests, what they did before real estate, and then we'll go forward.
Okay, what I did before real estate. Well, I actually don't remember if I've ever really had a regular job, like a 9-to-5, you know. So I've always been an entrepreneurial, spirited type of a person. I've had a tea farm in Hawaii. We had some different types of farming businesses. When I transferred over here to New York, we had a mobile notary business, a process serving firm. And while I was doing those two businesses, when I first moved here from Hawaii to New York, I said, I know these documents in and out. I should do real estate. In the meantime, I was trading, doing, what is it called? Anyway, some type of trading, proprietary trading. Lost all my money. I said, let me figure out how to do this thing called real estate. So I took the 75-hour course. I think I did it in West Nyack at that time. And I've just never really looked back. And those other businesses kind of, trickled off.
So are you from Hawaii originally? That's where...
Actually, originally from Connecticut.
Okay. So how'd you end up in Hawaii?
College, and then just got stuck there for like 18 years. And found my son's father, had a wonderful boy who Don has met.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so...
Hawaii sounds like a great place to get stuck in.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd probably be okay getting stuck in Hawaii.
It's like a time warp.
How's the real estate over there in Hawaii? We should maybe look
Explore
at
that.
Yeah, we should just go there.
Yeah, put it this way. I did sell a house there that my dad and I built, and I wished I hadn't because...
The other market.
Like every
the market.
like every other area here in the U.S., we've had a lot of appreciation. And when I looked at the value on that home, I said, "Why did I sell it?" But hindsight is 20/20, and so looking forward,
course.
Yeah,
of course.
And was that a? But were you on the Big Island or a different?
Exactly.
You were.
Yeah,
okay.
the Big Island.
Nice.
On the cow side.
Nice.
Cow. Have you been?
No, I'm dying to go.
We gotta go.
Can you be our
skirts,
Can you be
coconut bras.
our tour
Come on.
guide?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go.
Be a real estate trip,
Yeah, we could write it off.
Write it off. That's right.
Nice. That
The
should be
power
the
of
next real estate convention. His conference should be in Hawaii. Hawaii. Right.
I can't believe I didn't know that about you.
Oh, we're always learning.
Yeah.
Let's
About
put
one
together
another.
a
She
second
has,
interview.
Some Hawaiian colors on her. A little flow, a little flair of Hawaii on her.
Like it.
That's awesome. So So basically, you transitioned into real estate because you got here and you felt like you had a little bit of knowledge already and figured, let me take the class. And you took the class in New York, or?
Actually, yes, in New York. Okay. And then I kept losing clients to Jersey because I'd be like, not losing them, but, referring them out. So because we're right there on the border, Mawa. So I said, maybe I should get my license there. And I got my license there. And I think I placed it originally with you guys here.
Yes.
Well,
it's been a few years already.
Yeah, and I didn't do a whole lot. And I'm still not doing a whole lot. I'm trying to get my footing. Most of my work is in New York, but...
Upstate.
Long Islanders.
Okay.
Long Islanders call anything above a certain,
upstate.
but yeah, upstate, yes, compared to where you're coming from.
Right.
But like Rockland, Westchester, Orange,
Yeah, which is just a hop away, really.
Duchess, yeah.
You know,
It's not
I
very
don't
far.
consider that upstate. I think upstate's like 5 hours.
Syracuse.
Right, but a
and,
Long
Utica.
Island, I agree, but a Long Islander would say I'm upstate.
Right,
So,
exactly.
But we have the same sort of issue here in Jersey, right? Because people are very confused about what's South Jersey. Like they think the Jersey Shore, an hour from where we are is South Jersey. That is not South Jersey.
No, that's central.
That's central.
Essential.
Yeah.
That's why you talk about what exit you're from. If you ever see people's cars and like where they have a second home, they put the exit number as the car magnet.
Yeah.
So people know, like they have a better idea of where they are.
So your first license was in New York, and then your second was Jersey,
Jersey, then
and
Connecticut.
then Connecticut.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend in Connecticut?
Well, I'm trying to spend more time there. We just got a lake house, so I'm trying to also customize my life to the way I want it, right? So,
Sure.
Yes.
and selling more of a lifestyle, really. Like, where do you want to be, right?
Right.
Love it.
So, yeah, I probably spend most of my time right now in Jersey trying to get my footing here. But I do have a place in Connecticut, and I have a place in New York as well. So,
Nice. Very nice. You're very fluid in that way, right? You can be anywhere, and
well, not anywhere. Stuck in the tri-state area.
that's a big area to cover.
It is,
Most
but I
people
don't
just
cover
I'm,
all.
I'm gonna cover one county. Yeah, but you also have your Cutler group, right? You have your team and you have additional assistants that help you. So it's good that you have.
Actually, right now I'm just trying to grow that, but it's a challenge to find somebody that wants to work the way you want to work.
that is
I
a
have that
challenge.
same problem. In all seriousness,
That's why we work well
It's-
together.
Yep, it's very, very difficult. And then it's kind of like, well, if I'm going to take time out of my day to teach somebody else, I might as well just do it myself. Mm-hmm. Which
Yeah.
is not a good trait. I have that constant battle, but
Somebody's a control freak.
in business,
Yeah, but you can't. What I've realized is you can't scale if you don't have other people.
sure.
Yeah.
So-
that's very
Absolutely.
true. Yep.
Yeah.
You should, and
Absolutely.
in any, when Dawn and I were working together, our team was we were always trying to do things in a very systematic way so that we could just reproduce it. This is how we do it. You do it this way, and it would trickle down to the rest of the team in that way. And if you can find a flow where that works, where you can do something that's reproducible, right? Then you can scale because you can teach everybody to do the same thing, and you don't have to micromanage, everything. But it's
Well,
tough to
part
find
of
that
that
person.
is
Said and done, right?
creating the systems so
Yeah.
you don't
Yes.
have to micromanage, and that's where I'm kind of stuck. Right? Just
Yeah.
I got to have the systems. Take the time to build the systems so they're working for you, and then find the right people to employ the systems.
So,
Right.
knowing what you know now, what would be something that you wish you knew before you got into real estate?
Okay, so I would say it would probably be to really dig deep into your CRM. So I had this phobia about CRMs. I was afraid. I was formerly with Weichert. So I had this thing about, I still do have a thing about control. So I get scared of where I put my data, and I would always carry it around on spreadsheets and never really put it into the CRM because of lack of trust and
Right.
moving around from spreadsheet to
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Now I have a huge database, but it's such a hot mess. So just really trying to figure out how to go through it and systematize how, like, where are these touch points coming from? And to take these databases, because a lot of the people may not have a phone number or an email. So try to extract and put them into a certain database. Okay, A is going to go and call these people or email them to try to get the missing data, and then just try to keep, beefing up your database, because
Sure.
it's a I call it a hot mess. It's a hot
we
mess.
like to use the mayor script for that, the mayor campaign.
Oh, the mayor campaign, yes.
I have to say,
That's an inside joke for United people. We get
you're not
trained
alone
this.
on the CRM thing. I think the majority of real estate agents are in that same situation.
Sure.
Like there are a lot of great CRMs, a lot of great systems out there, and then it's who owns those systems, what are they going to be doing with the data that you put in, and there's a little bit of a
Well, that's why we always recommend to use the United one. You know, our CRM is not, you know, used, but like only that agent gets to see that data. It doesn't get sold to anywhere. You know, a lot of these, there are a lot of companies out there that people like to write their offers into, these loop people or whatever. I'm not going to mention their names, but you know, they sell every piece of information. The name is sold to one company. The address is sold to another company. The phone number to another telemarketing company. That's why we don't recommend, you know, to use these, you know, outside places that you can write your offers into, because they're going to sell off every piece of information you type into it. And that goes for CRMs as well. You know, our CRM does not, you know, take advantage of our agents that way. You know, and that's why we always recommend, and that's why we're always, you know, beefing it up, making sure that, okay, this is a warm lead, this is a hot lead. Like, you can do all of that in our CRM and keep track of your clients and rank them, right? That's one of the things that we always teach our agents is rank them, so you know who's your A+ client, who's your A, your B, your C, right? The D, the people you're going to delete from your delete from the you know, from your database. So yeah, it's tough to find a good CRM that, you know. But once you have one, right, the best CRM is
the one you use.
the one
I
you
was
use.
just going to say that.
Yeah.
Could be Post-its. It could be whatever.
Right. Yeah, it could be your Excel spreadsheet. It could be your phone. You know, I see a lot of great agents who only use their phones, but in their phones you see all these notes for their clients. And, you know, that's an interesting thing to see, that someone could be, you know, a high-producing agent with a very low profile or low tech, you know, database, and it still works. But it's because that's the one they use. That's what you're used to.
We know top producers that only uses his phone.
Yes, absolutely.
No laptop. Just
No
a phone.
laptop. Literally, there's a 20-year-old agent here that literally runs $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 business a year, and only has a cell phone.
Nice.
That's it.
So you know, it's
Nice.
everyone has something different.
For us older people, we can't operate that way.
Well, you still use your Rolodex?
No, but I need my laptop.
Or-
I need
or
my
your-
iPad, something
Your
bigger.
Motorola, your PDA. What was that?
Sure. My Palm Pilot.
Your Palm Pilot
What's that?
with the
What's
roller. Oh my.
Oh, my
goodness.
BlackBerry.
The
Oh,
BlackBerry.
I
Oh,
loved
BlackBerry.
that. I loved that
Ooh.
BlackBerry phone.
Blackberry.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
What is that?
Do you know about that? Do you know?
I used to have.
I'm old enough, yeah.
When I first got into real estate, I had a Palm Pilot. I had where you take the stylus out of it and you could write into the screen and stuff. Oh my goodness, that's a while back.
That was just for taking notes, right?
Right? No. You could
Like
do
your
anything.
scheduling and stuff?
Right.
Was it like your
Yeah, you
schedule?
could put schedule. You can do just about anything. Play tic-tac-toe.
And he was faxing his offers in.
Oh my goodness. Faxing.
The Palm Pilot.
What's a fax?
Uh-huh.
Never heard of that.
You know
That's
what?
funny.
I refer a lead to PA, and the agent was like, "Hey, what's your fax number?" I was like,
Fax.
"You mean my email?" like
Fax number.
like fax number. I'm like,
Like you might as well be on a dinosaur riding it over to deliver the mail.
I'm a time traveler here.
Time traveler.
I do have an e-fax in case you ever need it, by the way.
Oh, an e-fax. That's right. I remember those too.
Yep. Yep.
The electronic.
So let's see. Well, I don't want to
Let's
monopolize.
let's get to the fun stuff. Do
Okay,
you have any
like what?
crazy real estate stories?
I should have I should have probably rehearsed this, but there
No,
was
you can't rehearse.
one lady. I know, right? Whatever the first thing that pops to your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
There was one lady that we got referred to. Mrs. Jacker. Oh, probably shouldn't say her name, but anyway.
All right, wait, hold on. We're gonna edit that part out. Okay. No, save the names to protect the innocent.
Right. So she actually, my partner and I listed her home, and she was a smoker, and she smoked in the house, and it was just so terrible. But it didn't matter what we did. She was going to lose her home. She was in a reverse mortgage. It was like a really bad story, but she was so particular. If we didn't close the blind the exact way, and that one little thing, it was just like walking on eggshells, and we never even ended up selling the house because
boy.
it was a terrible story. That was a crazy story. I'm trying to think of another something that's coming to mind, but she always comes to mind.
Yeah, well, so I have a crazy story about your house, actually. It's not that
okay.
crazy, but we had some issues with the town inspector, as you know.
Oh, yes.
And so I don't know if you guys know the story. So she says that she needs to see what's inside the shed. She's like, if there's garbage in the shed, I'm like, there's no garbage in the shed. It's totally emptied out. So we set up an inspection. She's like, you have to be there. You have to be present. I'm like, well, you can just leave the shed open for you. She's like, what if somebody's in there and jumps out on me and whatever? I'm like, you have to be kidding me. And I'm waiting there.
The inspector's saying this?
The inspector says that. She's like, you have to be there to like physically open it up. And I'm there. I'm waiting in the 2-hour window. Of course, she's not there in the 2-hour window. And it's like an extra hour. And she gets there. She's like, oh, you didn't have to be there just for this.
Oh.
But I open it. And she's like literally waiting for like someone or something to jump out. And it was such a crazy moment. I felt like they should have played some like creepy
music.
And I'm like opening it, nothing in there. She's like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm like,
2
what
hours
did
for
you
that.
think was going to be
All
there?
that suspense for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we've continued to have problems with that particular inspector. So,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of fun.
That reminded me of a story of a house down the shore where, just selling this regular house, and it had an additional house behind that house, and it had a little shed like next to it. I'm going to show the house, going through the things, everything's normal. And then I'm like, oh, let's see if what's in the shed or whatever, how the size of it. Open it up, there's a guy living in it. And I'm like, what on earth? And it wasn't, I think it was the size from this table to that wall. It was, this guy had a bed in there, had like all his clothes in there.
All
I'm like,
set
what
up.
is going on? My mind
A
was
pee
blown.
bucket.
It just, it was, I have no idea. No, it was very bare in there, but it was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, this is the last thing that I would have expected, was to see someone's actual living space. Like within, it was less than 60 square feet, I think. It was like so, and I'm like, and it was so odd, because it was like such a sunny day. It had to be 130 degrees inside that thing.
The hut.
Yeah, it was like so. You ever see these metal sheds? It had to be 130 degrees in there.
So I actually remember that story, and I was there at that house one time. I did not know someone was. It was like attached to the side of the house, under a porch. House, yeah. And I saw it open, and this man runs out in his underwear, like across the back lawn. I remember that house.
You couldn't be dressed in there. It had to have to be 130 degrees, I'm telling you.
Well, it's probably cheaper than buying a steam sauna because, on average, they're about $4,700.
Right.
And so maybe he was trying to save money because,
Right.
Maybe 40% less people.
Yeah.
Dena, you're onto something here.
Right?
She's good with numbers and everything. You see, that's why she's
Yeah.
top producer. I like it.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
Just to get back on the real estate, I have a question. As a realtor, we are our own bosses. Like, right, we run our own business, and you managing a lot here. For new entrepreneurs, it's always a big challenge to manage all the things that we have to do. Right, a lot of I have conversations with agents that they get the license, and they are like, I don't have enough time to do what I have to do. So what is it? How you manage your time
With 3 states.
With 3 states.
Well, I don't have a 9 to 5, right? So these agents that you're referencing, do they have like other jobs that they're doing, or?
Some of them have the 9 to 5 or are transitioning. So they are used to somebody telling them what to do,
Yeah.
and be here from this time to this time. So now they have all this freedom, but they feel like all the tasks that we have to do, the showings, following up with the leads, making the phone calls and all that is just like too much.
Yeah.
How
You know what? That I don't know if I'm right, but my take on that is it's a mindset thing.
Okay.
Right? It comes down to, and if you're used to following instruction of somebody all the time, you got to retrain your brain to know what you need to do to show up to be the person that you're trying to be, right? And I would say that person needs to just start to maybe dial back with other things that they're doing and really focus in on what is it that I need to do today? Like, I don't even have a schedule. I probably would be way more productive if I had a much better time blocked schedule, right? So time blocking is really important for that person, perhaps. You know, I time block from like, say, 8. Well, I role play from 7:30 to 8, and then 8 to 11. Typically, I'll prospect. And then if they don't have that kind of time, you've got to figure out what time, because you're not going to go anywhere if you don't prospect, right? So you got to prospect maybe for that person that has that other job, maybe prospecting after your other job or setting a time on the weekend. It doesn't really matter. Like this one group that I'm with, they say prospect early in the morning. My opinion is I don't care when you prospect, just God dang on prospect.
Just do it.
I was prospecting till 9 p.m. last night.
Wow.
And some people get upset, like, hey, you're calling me on a Friday night at 8:30, blah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I will call you back on another day. So I'll just put them in to try to, and I lack on follow up, but I'll double back with them. But my thing is prospect. So they have to prospect and keep notes, you know, of what they need to do, maybe until they start changing the mindset, because it does take a mindset shift, in my opinion.
That's correct. So
What do you
a
think?
system. No, for me, I always tell them. I have a system. Time blocking is the way to go for me, and Google Calendar tells me what to do. So if you tell me, hey, we are meeting for lunch, I have to go on my phone and put it on Google Calendar, because if I don't do it, this lunch is not happening.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just having some type of system where you can organize your thought, because I believe when you have something to do and you leave it here, is like in your head,
It disappears.
it disappears. So you have to put it on paper, Google Calendar, like I do. There's other apps, Todoist. There's so many apps. So for me, it's Google Calendar.
Yeah. You know what? I'm really glad you brought that up, because I do also use the Google Calendar, but I think based on my own knowing myself, I have to turn off notifications of other things, because we get so many notifications on our phones that Google Calendar needs to take precedence, right? Because otherwise, sometimes I've overlooked important appointments that I put on the Google Calendar because I'm getting so many other silly notifications.
Right. Somebody's at your door, or you got an email. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's just like ding, 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 all day long.
Or somebody else is inviting you to an event.
Yeah, so...
Okay, yeah, just wanted to ask that because you've been doing it for so long, right? Like you've been an entrepreneur for so long that is natural. Yeah, you know what to do. But for somebody that is used to being told what to do, and now they're in this world where, hey, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I know I have to call somebody tomorrow, but I usually forget. Like,
So, you know what I think? You know, when people enter the real estate industry, first of all, I think there's a big misconception about what you need to do to become successful, right? It's nothing like HGTV, and the shows are fun and they're fabulous.
It's
and all
not.
that.
So true.
But it's not.
really?
And it's to, not to be negative, but to a fault, it's so easy to get into the real estate industry
Yes.
that it makes people feel like it's going to be easy, right? But they don't, oftentimes, I think they don't realize that they've just become a business owner. And so, listen, there's no ceiling and there's no floor to your income, right? You can work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and you might not get paid. And for some, that's not ideal, or for most. But without having somebody say, oh, you didn't show up at 9 o'clock today, you know, it's almost like college. You know, the tuition's paid. It doesn't matter if you show up or not, right? They don't care. Nobody's calling your mom and asking where you are that day.
Right.
So, to a fault, I think in some ways, that's where people get, you know, sort of soured on the business because they're not realizing, hey, I'm a business owner. I've got to invest in my own business, invest in myself. I'm in control now, right? You've got to get out there. And, you know, one of the things I teach in my class, we talk about time, right? If you think about, I'm going to name drop a little bit, but if you think about, you know, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all these people, they have the same 24 hours that we have in a day. They didn't get 28 hours or 30 hours, right? But the difference between them and us, some of the differences, might be what they do at that time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that are just sitting, scrolling through social media all day, looking at who vacuumed the dog on a skateboard or something, you know? And then who can I send it to that's going to like it also? forget about there's something that Oprah said one time. I don't know if I'll remember exactly, but she says when you're in a race, the 2 seconds you spend turning around to look where your competitors are is what will cost you the race, right? If you just put your head down and stay focused and worry about you and your business, you will be successful. But, in terms of people that, especially if they have other jobs, and I know realtors that are very, very successful, even more successful than people that don't have jobs, right? And they're doing really well in the business, even with another job. But it's just about what they spend their time on, what they focus on. Are they time blocking? Are they giving their business? Are they feeding their business a little bit? Even if it's 1-2 hours a day. Maybe it's an hour in the morning and an hour at night, or an hour at lunchtime and an hour at night, or whatever. Sometimes the freedom and the flexibility of this business is what will make or break somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Because even if you know what to do, you still need to organize your time. You need to,
of course,
work on that calendar.
But it's like Dena said, it's a mind shift. You have to prepare for it because, you're in a different environment. You are your own boss. You have to set your own rules. Dena actually has, she just described her typical day, 7:30 to 8, you're role playing, 8 to 11, you're making your prospecting calls. That's a clear, that's a CEO of a business right there. Somebody who knows this is what I'm going to do. No one else is telling me to do this. I'm making myself do this. This is the discipline of the business.
And, with due respect, but it also depends on who you surround yourself with. So if you come to the office and you're munching on donuts and,
Right.
whatever.
That's not going to get me another listing.
Nope.
So, I'm very cautious of where you put your time and your energy. But getting back to that, is just with respect to training the mind. It's also about reading, right? So you got to read these books to try to learn how to do the mind shift and put yourself out there. Go into masterminds and groups where people are doing the similar things. Right. Get the exposure and lock in with those people, because those people are the people that are going to help you to grow.
Right.
Right. So.
Absolutely. Well, the company you keep is ultimately what's going to.
Yeah, what's that saying?
I don't remember exactly.
You're some of the 5 people you keep company with. Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's some people you can spend less time with, some you can't. But
well, if I could have had a picture of your brain of like the 5 people that came up, I was like, oh, that's scary.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
That's funny. You mentioned books. Oh, you want to recommend a book that you would recommend? Single book?
Well,
or two. If you have,
there's
something that comes
so
to mind.
many, but Go for No is such a simple book. Okay. It is so simple. It's fun to read. And I think anybody that's beginning to prospect gets so afraid on the phone or however they're prospecting. Oh, what are they going to say? It's okay if they say no. It really is, because the more no's you get, the closer you're getting to what?
To the
yes.
yes.
And finding the person that needs your help.
Yeah. And so Go for No was a really fun read. I mean, I'm not saying I have, anybody's listening, I don't have short-term memory loss, but there's so much in my brain that I would love to think about the books, but I have them all on Audible and I'm listening to them all the time.
I like The Go-Giver is a nice
The
quick
Go-Giver?
little book.
That's just like one of my all-time favorites.
And The Richest Man in Babylon, which is also a great,
I do have that one on Audible.
a lot of
That
good
was a
lessons in
one.
it.
Have you read The Go-Giver?
The Go-Giver?
Have you read it?
That's, I'm famous for starting the book and never finishing it. I've got about 3/4 of the way through The Go-Giver.
It's a quick little book. It's a nice, it's a good way to see the world, and to retrain yourself into seeing the world that way is, and it's not a difficult concept to get, which is good. So The Go-Giver, if you get a chance, should get it. So if any other questions you want to
No,
tackle?
I mean, I'll say a compliment to Dena. The thing about Dena, and knowing you on a personal level to some extent, she has a business mindset, and you'll do whatever it takes, right? I see some agents in this industry that they fail because they're like, nope, that's not part of my job description, or nope, I'm only here 9 to 5. Well, in this business, it doesn't work like that, right? We often tailor our own lives, to a fault, to our clients and their needs and things like that. But that's probably you going above and doing whatever it takes. And I've talked to you at all hours, you know, and I know you'll do what it takes to get things done. And that's what clients need. And that's probably why you're one of the very successful agents out there, because you have a good business mindset.
Sometimes we have to shovel. Sometimes we have to clean toilets.
Sometimes.
We have to meet the repair guy. We have to meet the electrician. We we take care of people's dogs.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a water spot in the shower door. They have to clean the mirrors. You have
It's
to-
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're counselors.
Yeah.
You know, it's
W- w-
Probably
the-
more. We're probably more counselors and therapists than like selling homes.
Yeah.
I think the majority of our services are
Yeah, we do a
therapy
lot.
We're the
services.
handyman, we're the janitor, we're the everything.
I remember my first deal. I was with. Should I mention the name of the company now? So I was with this company,
XYZ Real
and we
Estate.
had an issue with a door hinge for like the back, like the backyard or something. But before I used to do fences, so I knew how to fix that. And the inspector was there and was like, "Yeah, I'm about to fail you for this." I was like, "Can I fix it? Can I go in my car, get my tools, and fix it?" He was like, "You're gonna fix it?" I'm like, "Yes." So I went to my car. Boom. There's a picture on Facebook actually of me fixing the door, and he's like, "Okay, you're
I'm
good."
gonna need to see that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll show
If
it
there's
to
no
you.
picture,
Nice.
it didn't happen.
I have it on
that's
my
true. If it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Right.
So are you gonna put up a new fence for me?
Oh, yeah, let's
I'm
do
in
it.
the market for a new fence.
I'll give you a quote later.
I think the first person I ever heard saying something like that was in the 90s. It was Madonna. She said, if it's not on film, is it worth doing? Like that was one of her quotes. I think she was talking to Warren Beatty at the time. It's like if it's not on camera, is it worth doing? It's like, okay. That's
Could be
another
true.
way to look at the world. But, you know, all these years later, that's exactly how everybody feels, right?
Yep.
Take a
Yep.
picture, snap of this. Take
You
a
go
that.
everywhere now. It's just like,
Yeah. It's ubiquitous.
Sure is.
How about what advice would you give a brand new agent?
Find an amazing mentor like Dawn.
Oh,
And
I paid her to say that.
no,
nice.
it wasn't premeditated.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, find a mentor
Yep.
and someone that's going to guide you. You have to want it too, though.
Yeah.
True.
Nobody's coming to get you. As
Right.
Mel Robbins
It's funny
says.
because I remember years and years ago I would tell brand new agents, listen, I can teach you all this stuff, but I can't put desire in your heart. I can't put that drive. That has to come from you. You have to put a little bit of your part too. It's not just, oh, who's gonna teach me this? Who can show me how to do this? I can show you all of that, but unless you actually get out of bed and come to the office and actually attend the classes
Consistently.
or do it consistently, yes,
Yeah.
it's you're not gonna go anywhere
Right.
if you don't put a little bit of effort on your part. So yeah, it's having a mentor is a great
finding
start.
the right mentor helps a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I found you, Dawn.
Well, thank you.
We always like to ask our guests, a quick rapid fire, Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks.
For
What do you
me,
prefer?
Starbucks.
I knew you were a Starbucks girl.
I should look like Starbucks first.
Lunch in the car or a restaurant?
In preference, a restaurant, but my job says in the car.
In the car.
Right.
We're like master. Like we can eat in the
car.
car better than anybody else.
Right.
And steer and talk on the phone and look for a paper. And
Wait, hold on. No traffic violations
Oh.
here. But I got you.
How about a favorite lunch food? What's your go-to lunch?
Probably a salad with some sort of protein on it. That
Oh.
I'm trying to
Grilled chicken or something?
Grilled
or-
chicken or grilled shrimp, like
Yeah.
Cajun, something spicy,
Healthy.
yummy.
Healthy life.
Yeah.
Nice. How about favorite? Well, you're in 3 states, so I'm gonna ask you 3 different towns. Favorite town in Jersey, New York, and Connecticut.
Oh, well, I tend to congregate.
Whether you sell there or not, it's just your favorite town in each state.
So in New York, I'd probably say Nyack, just because I lived there for a long time. In Jersey, Montclair is
I
kind
knew
of
you were
fun.
going to say Montclair. Yeah.
And Connecticut, I tend to kind of hang out in Hartford area.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
The insurance capital of the world, right? Is that still the case?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Capital.
I think I have family there still. There's some couple of cousins. They're always in Hartford, moved out of Hartford, come back to Hartford. I'm like, okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
Now, favorite restaurant.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant?
Mhm.
You know, I love so many different types of food.
You can give us a few.
Just because you work on 3
And-
states, I'll give you 3. You can pick 3.
But you know, the reality is I really try not to eat out too much.
Okay.
Because I do try to. I'm a little bit becoming a little neurotic with about everything, like water
Health,
quality,
yeah.
the oils that we eat.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
so much of that, and I really have been becoming, as I get older, like hypersensitive. So my choice would be to eat at home or prepare it and bring it with me if I'm organized. But otherwise, I'm going to try to find something with a lettuce wrap or,
Okay.
Okay.
you know, there's this place in New Haven that I found. It was, you know, and that's the funny thing is I can't even remember the names of them because they're all on the Google thing.
Right.
It comes back to that book thing, right? It's just they're pre-programmed in these. I know where to press the buttons
Right.
to get where I need to go.
We're at the Jetsons. She was, press this button. Press this button.
But yeah, just something more healthy if I had a
You can
choice.
help it, yeah.
If I
It's
could help
interesting. I know we're on a different section, but you doing that, I read a book about it, allows you to do what you have to do. For example, I'm sorry. So remembering the name of a book or remembering that restaurant is not as important as you having to do what you have to do for your work to succeed, right? So when you write down those little things, you put the schedules on the Google Calendar. Now you don't have to think about it,
Right,
and now
'cause
you
it's
can
there.
focus on the important thing. So
You
Yeah,
know what's interesting? I had a boyfriend decades ago, but he said, "Hey, I want to take you to a Rolling Stones concert," and I was like, "Who?"
Yeah, right.
He's like, "You got to be kidding me." He's like, "You don't know Rolling Stones?" And I said, "I have no idea." Now, he played a song for me. I knew every single lyric. But the way my brain worked, I could not remember
The band.
or know
Yeah.
who they were.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like that. So I'm glad you brought it up because sometimes I go, what is wrong with me? Like, am I really having like
No, you
some sort of problem?
You assign a certain amount of weight to each thing.
Exactly.
And the lyrics were more important than the band's name. So clearly that's.
But
why
I
that
think
happens.
it's that way with a lot of things. Like you're
Sure.
asking me about the book, the restaurant.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I just know where
Yeah.
I want to go.
Because
But
the material was more important than the outside. You
Yeah.
like the inner more than the outer.
okay, thanks for
you're
putting it that
you're
way.
amazing at managing priorities, right? So
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'm like that with movies. People will be like, "Did you see this the name?" And I'm like,
I'll literally
I don't
go
know.
to a movie and go, "Oh, I saw this already." They're like, "Oh, I just asked you," and I'm like, sorry, I didn't know." Same thing.
Right.
You have to tell me the storyline, and then I might remember
Yeah.
it. They're like telling celebrity names. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you know, it made me think of something. So recently I'm on my way to an appointment and I have my navigation on and I rely on it so heavily that I literally don't even know where to go without it. And I have the navigation on. I'm on a call. Someone else is calling in. Now my phone just like shuts off. And I had to pull over
Yep.
because I don't know where to go. But when I first started in this business, I didn't have a smartphone I didn't have enough money to buy a navigation because that was like a big thing. And I used to print out MapQuest directions, like
I
from the
heard that
first
one. I
house
love
to the
that
second
one.
house to the second
Right.
house to the third house. And I'll never forget, I was showing somebody 4 houses. I have all my printouts and directions. And we go to the second house. I had printed out the listings for them. They're like, "Oh, we already saw that house." But I don't know how to get to the third house then. I'm like, well, let's just drive by it just in case, you know, I don't know.
So then you can pick up the directions from that house
Yep,
to the next one.
go there. Okay, we drive by, give it a little wave. Now we're going to go to the third house. There's a road closure.
Oh, no.
And you know, those detour signs are not really well placed. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I didn't have a navigation to put in. Yeah, those days were a little painful.
Man.
Yeah.
That's a sad situation because, like
You remember
everything's-
those days.
Of course,
And we were killing trees like
I've
you wouldn't
had-
believe.
I had MapQuest adventures where it would loop me back around the same thing.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize until you were actually doing it.
Especially
that
jug
it was
handles.
putting you back into the same. Like, wait a minute, am I going in circles? This thing,
You
this
have
thing got
arrived.
yeah. Like it took me. You know, you'd get on the parkway, go back, go back and be like, wait a minute,
Oh, it's
I just
so
did a circle.
embarrassing.
Like this thing is taking me around. These people following me think that I'm crazy.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And they really had to follow you because they didn't have navigation either.
Right.
In fact, I'll never forget this. This is a pretty funny story. So I have a client following me, and at the time I had a black SUV, and we're on the highway, and I thought I saw him turn off where it split. But whatever, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. I get to the house. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting and waiting. It's like 30 minutes now. So finally, they show up. I'm like, what happened? They're like, we like took our eyes off the road for 1 second and started following a different car that we thought was you, and they end up at McDonald's in the Walmart parking lot. They're like, and that's when we realized it wasn't you.
Oh gosh.
Now they gotta ask somebody for directions.
Oh my goodness.
It was kind of a mess. Talk about a hot mess. Back in the day, pre-navigation, pre-smartphones, hot mess.
I wonder if they end up getting something at that McDonald's.
Yeah, probably.
They probably did.
I mean, they were there already. Like
Bathroom break, lunch
I
break.
once had a client. That's funny. Well, I once had a client. We're in the middle of showings, and he's got 2 young children. He's like, "Oh man, I'll be right back." I was like, "What? Where's he going?" He literally went to McDonald's to get to get burgers. I'm like, "Okay, you're looking at your clock like,
Right.
what? We're off schedule now."
Right, you're late for your next
Yeah.
if
one.
that
be
happens
late.
to me, I would show up at the closing with with
McDonald's?
with some Happy Meals.
That's
So
funny.
let me get back to the quick
We're
questions.
having so much
How
fun.
about-
I forgot where we were.
Right. How about favorite vacation spot?
Oh,
Not Hawaii, though.
not Hawaii.
Yeah, not Hawaii.
So I do
That's
love
funny.
to go south to like Florida area. And it would usually always be someplace warm because I really don't love the cold. So why am I still here? I don't know. But you know, I probably don't travel enough, right?
You were just in Greece. What do you mean?
Well, Greece was fun. Yeah, yeah.
But was it your favorite?
No,
No.
I mean it was so. Listen,
So where in Florida? You mentioned Florida, so let's.
I tend to go towards St. Pete area.
Oh,
nice.
sure.
Nice.
But
It's beautiful.
Clearwater,
Yeah.
all that area is nice. All of it, really.
yeah, but that's maybe that's the thing of the past. Who knows? But yeah, the Bahamas are nice.
Oh yeah.
Aruba.
Windier than I thought. Aruba.
Yeah.
It was pretty windy. But
Just
nice.
anywhere really where you can put your toes in the sand and
Sure.
have the wind in your air, the wind in your face, fresh air, and blue water.
Ooh,
blue
blue
water.
yes.
Yeah, that would be my go-to.
Nice.
Love it.
Where? Well, since you're in 3 states, which are your favorite areas to service? Is there a county or a town that you like to sell the most in each state?
No, honestly, it just really depends on where my clients are going
Right.
or where they're looking to relocate to. I have a lot of people that are in New York, Rockland, Orange, Westchester counties.
Okay.
Trying
You hear
to
that, people? Call it.
building more up in Essex County, New Jersey now. So
Nice.
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Where? We always like to give you a chance to promote yourself by telling us like your Instagram handle and your phone number. What's your Instagram handle?
Oh, the Instagram handle is at the Cutler Real Estate.
Awesome.
TikTok.
TikTok is, I think it's at Dena Cutler.
Nice. And your phone number?
My phone number.
Yeah.
My phone number is 917-232-5283, but only call for real estate.
We have it right on the screen right here. Everybody can see it.
For all your real estate needs.
Yes. Great. Well, thank you for coming onto the show. We really appreciate you stopping by and giving us your time.
It was so much fun.
We're glad you
Likewise.
had.
We had
Yeah.
a great time with you, Dena.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. And it is such a pleasure to grow with you guys. And I know we're going to be growing more here
Yes.
in
Absolutely.
Jersey. So
That's right.
we saw a recent CEO, right,
Yes.
discussing what's happening here at United. And
Absolutely.
that's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And looking forward to growing together.
Yes.
Thank you. Alrighty.
you.
This is Realtors Radio Network signing off.
Keep an ear out for the next episode of the Realtors Radio Network, where Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough share their wealth of real estate knowledge. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, review, and share. Find us on social media at Realtors Radio Network. See you next time on the Realtors Radio Network.